It's time! What's kicking, everybody? We are back for another episode of Picking Fights. I'm Keith, joined as always by my friend Tom. Tom, how are you tonight?
Well, after that intro, how could I be anything less than spectacular? Hey, we had a pretty surprisingly good UFC Seattle. Not that surprising, but disappointing start. We, full transparency, plan to go live somewhere around 8:30, maybe a little bit sooner, but we've just been in the pre-show just talking about conspiracies. So we're going to try and run through this card as fast as possible. But how you doing before we get into it?
I'm doing well. On my end, you just cut out a little bit, but yeah, we did have a fun pre-show. We were talking for much longer than we anticipated. We were getting into all sorts of conspiracy theories and wild stuff that we probably could have made a whole other podcast about. And eventually, one of these days, I think, Tom, you and I just have to launch into a lifestyle podcast and really just get into like the nitty-gritty of things, especially now that the media is not as controlled by the mainstream and we're not as likely to get canceled. How can you get canceled before you even started, you know? But we wanted to really get started. So please, we have a decent chunk of subscribers right now. But if you really want to help us out and you appreciate our content and you keep coming back every week, please like, comment, and subscribe. Jump in the comments. We love talking about the comments. We love talking with the chat. We love going over to Spotify, and we love going to X and Instagram @_picking_winners. We have a good time. We like our friends and our family out there that chat with us. We both went 8-2 last week. We picked all the same fights. 8-2. That's a great record. 8-2. That's 80% correct. Last week's Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong card. We called practically every fight correctly. Method and, well, winner and method. So we did very, very well, right? We had Gene Silva by TKO. We had Song Yadong by, I guess he won by TKO. They credited me for that one on my book, even though it came down to the decision.
They said it's a technical decision, yeah.
But yeah, they gave me the technical decision, right? So that worked out. Which ones did we have? I know we missed on. I don't want to mention those two fights. Well, I will. Ibo Aslan, and there was one other. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then we had Ricky Simone. That was a big pick for us. So yeah, definitely keep subscribing. You know, I feel like we're going to have a good year, and it would be very unfortunate for the people at home if we just kind of went under the radar and we're betting like champs. If you are going to bet responsibly. This week we got Manel Kape versus this is a name. Almabayev.
Asu Almabayev is how I'm going to be rolling with it.
Yeah, Almabayev. And this is a dude that relatively new to the UFC, way too new to be fighting Manel Kape. I'll give my take on that one later. Before we jump in, you got anything to say about last week?
No, it was a good card. I ended up not being able to watch most of it live. I just saw Henry Cejudo's eye earlier today. It does look kind of banged up, but it was a very odd reaction to say you want to fight, but then loudly scream that you can't see. That's like the known thing not to say if you want to continue fighting. But to each their own. It'll be interesting to see what he does from here. Song Yadong was looking good. So anyway, instead of living in the past, living in the future, looking forward. What do you think of this fight?
This fight, Danny Barlow versus Sam Patterson. All right, you wanna roll a little main card picks thing?
Forgot all the pizzazz.
All good. Yeah, we got to keep it fucking fancy and nice. So we're skipping right through our prelim picks because really there aren't any. I'll give you one. I kind of like Montana De La Rosa over Luana Carolina. She's a slight dog, whatever. Anyways, we got Danny Barlow versus Sam Patterson opening it up. Danny Barlow, good hands, knocking a lot of people out in the UFC. Both of these guys, really, a lot of fights won by finish in the UFC. I am leaning towards Sam Patterson to get it done, though. I like Sam Patterson's jiu-jitsu. I like his ability to climb up on somebody's back. I like that he could do it in all sorts of ways. Danny Barlow is a guy that relies more on his hands. Now, obviously, the fight starts standing on the feet. Danny Barlow can get you with that 1-2. He's really got a nasty 1-2, and not even just like a jab, a jab straight. He's also got a nasty left hook. He's got a lot of stuff going for him, but Sam Patterson also has a really good chin. I am leaning towards Sam Patterson. This is a fight that could go either way, in my opinion. You do have like a massive. What does that say, Tom? I can't really read
Plus
that.
245.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Plus 245. Give me Sam Patterson. I'm gonna roll with him this week. I like him. He's a Brit, I do believe. Yeah, coming out of the UK. And he's just scrappy. He's a very, very scrappy guy. Which part of the UK is he coming out of?
That Wofford, England.
Does Watford make you a Scouser? I don't know. Scousers don't get knocked out, but Danny Barlow I'm sorry, Sam Patterson has in the past. But yeah, I got a good feeling about him this week. I think he's going to do something funky, and he's going to do something a little weird and take that 0 from Danny Barlow. So give me Sam Patterson. What do you got, Tom?
I'm going to be going against you. I'm taking the safe pick, minus 350 with Danny Barlow, left-handed god. Listen, we've seen Sam Patterson get knocked out before. He's a young guy. He does have a little bit of an obscure style, and I think if he can, get too caught up with going for a takedown and trying to land that submission, I think Danny Barlow could land that left hand. So I'm going to be boring. I'm going to go with 83% of the votes on Tapology, minus 305. It's not a sexy pick, but to me, it feels like the safe pick. So I'm going to be going with Danny Barlow there.
All right, word. Next up, I'm sorry that we disagree there because last week we went 8-2, picking all the same fights, and already we're diverging. But next, we got William Gomis versus Haider Amil. I'm going with William Gomis, the Frenchman. I believe that's how you say it if you're from France. Gomis. I can't imagine it's Gomis like penis, but I think it's Gomis. And the guy's a little bit more of a UFC vet. A lot more time in the UFC octagon. Haider Amil coming off, I think, maybe one fight in the UFC and then a contender series before that. Fought in the LFA. LFA is a great pre-UFC, like B League, maybe C League, right? You go like LFA to contender series to UFC. Okay, so he's got 2 UFC fights, one winning by TKO, and then the other one, I think it's a decision win. And then you got William Gomis, just a little bit more time in the UFC, but yeah, it's he's got that UFC tenure. And one thing we got to keep in mind though, he's got 2 split decision wins going into this fight. So he's never done enough to really like win a fight going to decision that like looks great. He does have a knockout win over Giannis Gamori, and Giannis Gamori's a guy that's a little bit overrated. We talked about him a little bit over here. But when you go to decision, things don't look super great for you. And then you have Haider Amil, who has a nice 0 in his L column. And sometimes these lines are skewed. They do kind of like rely on us and the people at home not having so much UFC knowledge about these new guys, these random guys coming out of different promotions. Like a lot of people just look at like William Gomis and say like, yeah, he's got UFC tenure. And that's part of what I'm looking at is like, yeah, he's got the time in the UFC. We know what he looks like. But Haider Amil, young, fresh blood, 10-0. I'm going to go with William Gomis because people are having, like in 2023, fighters had a tough time making a debut. In 2024, fighters making a debut were doing well. It's still early in a 25, but fighters making a debut, it's not even a debut, but like the more experienced fighter is having a lot more success. And Haider Amil is still very new to the UFC. So give me William Gomis, but I don't feel great about it. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I am going to go with William Gomis for the sheer fact that he's got some knockouts, but you alluded to it. It's having those couple of split decisions shows that he can go the distance and he can win the tough fight. He can, get knocked down, drop around, and still come back and win the overall fight. I don't think he's going to be able to knock out Haider Amil. I mean, look at the size of that guy's chin. It's the size of a freaking bumper on an F-150. So I don't expect Haider Amil to go down in this one, but he is a little bit older here. He's going to be a little bit the shorter guy. He's got a reach disadvantage against a striker like William Gomis. I like Gomis, the guy who's been scrappy, won the decisions before. I like him to go out there, get another decision victory this time out and get the W, like I said, by by decision, by way of judges. Um, yeah, that's
That's
where I'm at on that
solid.
one.
I think if it goes the distance, you have a better shot of Hyder Emil winning this one. There might be some serious underdog money to be made because, like, look at this next fight. This next fight is Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto, and Mario Pinto is making his UFC debut. And then you have Austin Lane, who's 37, and his last five. Yeah, he has a win against Robelis Despain. That can't go under the radar because Robelis Despain is like 6'9". And then he has a loss to Jonata Denise, TKO loss. TKO loss to Justin Taffa, unintentional eye poke, DQ, Justin Taffa, Richard Jacoby going contender series to make it into the UFC. He is 37 years old. He's 11 years older than Mario Pinto. And all the Tapology voters are going with Pinto here. And it's like one of those things that you fade the public, right? As a bet responsibly, as a better, you fade the public quite often because the public is not great at betting. If the public was great at betting, then everybody would be a multimillionaire. That's just how it goes. Everybody would pick the right lottery numbers. Everybody would pick the right fighters, and then nobody would have a reason to bet. But we keep coming back and we keep betting every week because people lose. We went 8-2. I mean, I had a great week last week. I made a little bit of money, especially on some of those prop bets. I got a weird feeling. I think that Austin Lane, the experience is going to shine through. The need to wrestle when necessary is going to shine through. He really did that against Robelis Despain. Again, Robelis Despain, like 6'9", tall monster of a man. Austin Lane, what are we looking at with Austin Lane? What's the size on him? 6 foot even? Is that what it says? 6 foot?
He's 6'6".
Oh, he's 6'6", Austin Lane. Jesus Christ. Well, he went out there and he wrestled the shit out of Robelis Despain. He showed a lot of IQ. Mario Pinto, though, on the other hand, undefeated. It's a toughie. It's honestly a toughie because I feel like there is good money to be made on a dude like Austin Lane if you're gonna bet him, but I'm gonna have to take Mario Pinto here. I just think that, like, young, hungry dog, 26 years old. That's now younger than me. That's a weird thing. Is in the past it was always UFC fighters who are like a little bit older than me, and now we've been doing this show for a couple of years, and now they're younger. Like for a good chunk of time, it was only Mr. Ugly Face, the Mask. He looks like the Mask. Chiwiwis. Only Chiwiwis was younger than me for a while, and now Chiwiwis is getting up there in age. But yeah, now you have guys younger than me coming into the UFC and making a stamp for themselves. So I think Mario Pinto is probably going to get it done. Austin Lane, though, he is a pretty intelligent guy, but getting knocked out by Justin Taffa and other scrubs in the UFC, that doesn't sit well with me. So give me Mario Pinto. What do you got, Tom?
Yeah, I am going to be. I'm going to be with you here. I'm taking Mario Pinto. I think Austin Lane is just. I'm not going to weigh the Robelis Despain win because I don't. Robelis Despain was on a 2-fight losing streak, and then his most recent 2 wins are showing it before is in karate. So I just think that maybe he didn't have enough of a ground game to be able to to be able to compete, and Austin Lane to go out there and then wrestle him showed that he didn't want to strike, which I guess you could say is fight IQ, but it just showed that he wasn't willing to go out there and strike. And against a striker like Mario Pinto, now he could go out there and he could wrestle him, right? And maybe that's how he goes about winning, a very boring decision. So I think Lane by decision or Pinto by knockout, if you could have like a double chance bet somehow, like based on that. Because I think you're going to get Mario Pinto by knockout potentially, or you're going to get Austin Lane by decision. Although, you know what, I may want to revise that because you do have some decisions in here against not great competition. He is 26 going on 27 years old. They are roughly the same size. Then you got to add in the UFC debut factor, I think, probably plays against him a little bit. Maybe he goes out there and wins a decision. So, yeah, I'm going to side on Pinto. I could see Lane going for the takedown and trying to hold him down and capitalize on some inexperience and some lack of grappling, the way that he did with Despain. But, being that this guy's minus 360 and so much of it is on the knockout, I'll ride with the public and say, screw it, let's go with knockout. I mean, we are still kind of a week away from this UFC fight. So the people that are betting on this generally, I feel like know a little bit of what they're talking about. It's if I see the public go one particular way as we get closer, I think that might be like casuals and they go by names and whatnot. But I think, when we're this far out, we're doing the show on Monday for Saturday fight. I think maybe we take that into account. Maybe, it's some intelligent sharps or something like ourselves who are betting on this. In order to pick this next fight, you're going to have to be an intelligent sharp. You're going to have to know about these guys. I'm not really sure where I'm going to go here yet, but I'm interested to hear what you're thinking. What do you think?
I am positive with who I'm going with, and I'm going with Esteban Ribovic to beat Nasrat Haqparast. Nasrat gets a little confusing because he does look just like Kelvin Gastelum. He looks very
Yep.
much like so. To
But he's
the
much
eye,
younger.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He looks like a young version of him that maybe wasn't brought up in a Mexican household where like Kelvin Gastelum has a hard time cutting weight because Kelvin Gastelum's mom wants to feed him empanadas and tortillas and lots of like really delicious fatty foods. And who doesn't love good Mexican food? But that's Kelvin Gastelum's diet is primarily his mom's cooking. And Nasrat Haqparast is he's not on the same diet. He comes out of Afghanistan and trains in Germany. Both countries eat very, very healthy as opposed to Mexico. Although I love Mexican food more than anything, I'm not shitting on it. It's just if you're trying to cut weight and everything like Calvin Gastelum, he's run into some problems in the past with cutting weight. So that's not the diet that you want to be on. Rice and beans, frijoles con arroz. That's not an easy way to cut weight, but Esteban Ribovic, on the other hand, coming out of Argentina. Yeah, I'm going with Esteban. Esteban's got sick hands. He's got a sick kickboxing game. Nasrat Haqparast is also a really good kickboxer, but he lost to King Green, and I think that Esteban beats King Green on paper at least. He's way better from range, and he's going to do what Bobby Green, I called him King Green, that's his new name, but Bobby Green, as we all know him as, that's what he does. He's a elusive boxer. And now you combine the range in which Esteban Ribovic uses his kicks, the game, distance game, just a way, way better than a Bobby Green type of guy. Sure, Nasrat Haqparast has fought like Jamie Malarkey and a couple of the who's who, and Jared Gordon, the who's who of like mid-tier lightweights. But I think Esteban Ribovic, especially with the win over Daniel Zellhuber, that says a lot to me. I like Daniel Zellhuber. That was a fun fight. But that spoke to me. And I said, like, I remember saying that on this show, like, whoever wins that fight is going to end up making something of themselves. And here we have Esteban Ribovic winning that fight by split decision. And now he's fighting Nasrat Haqparast, who was once touted as a high lightweight prospect. I think I almost said Zellhuber again, who Esteban Ribovic is going to beat him. I do believe Ribovic, however you say it. Ribovic is more fun to me. That's more like if he was Russian, that's how his name would be pronounced. But I do think he gets the win over fake Calvin Gastelum this week and pieces him up at range and probably wins by decision or some sort of nasty highlight. But Nasrat Haqparast isn't really a guy that gets knocked out. So I think it's going to be 3 rounds of a sustained beating by Esteban Ribovic over Nasrat Haqparast. What do you think?
Yeah, the one that's really making the difference for me is the split decision win over Daniel Zellhuber. And, Daniel Zellhuber, I'm looking at, some of his record here. Or no, I was looking at Esteban Ribovic, but he got Francisco Prado, Christos Yagos, Landon Venata, who wins. He's got first UFC, loss to Trey Ogden. Name another guy who's got their first loss in the UFC. First fight in the UFC is a loss. It's damn near all of them. So, you forgive that one, and it was a really close fight, really good fight here. Esteban Ribovic turned in against a guy like Daniel Zellhuber. But, against Nasrat Haqparast, I'm just a little bit hesitant. Now, I can certainly see happening. What you described, where Esteban Ribovic is landing from distance, landing on the leg, slowing down Nasrat Haqparast. We don't really see a lot of technique, or we don't see a lot of strategy from Nasrat that you feel like he's got the ability to do, but he either shows up or he doesn't. He's a little bit like Kelvin in that way. He either shows up or he doesn't. I don't think his ceiling's as high as Kelvin, but you do have some good wins in here. He's got the win over Jared Gordon, which was a split decision, but you remember that Jared Gordon loses only against like a Patty Pimlet and like a top 7 and above type of lightweight. So, decent fight turned in against Jared Gordon, knocked out Jamie Malarkey, which can happen, but isn't necessarily easy to do. So, and he only did that a little over a year ago. He's only 29 years old. Landon Quinones, he's got a decision win over. John Makdessi, decision win over. Lost to King Green, like you said, does have that ability to be wild and find himself out of position. But, I think what you described absolutely could happen, where he's staying on the outside and lands, just has like a very masterful fight. But Nasrat Haqparast, he's on a 4-fight win streak here. He's at a TriStar gym. He's got a little bit more UFC experience. And remember who's that coaching at TriStar? It's Firas Zahabi. You know what I mean? So give me the plus 215 Nasrat Haqparast here, only 17% on Tapology. I'm fine going against the public here. Maybe is going to end up biting me in the butt, but you know what? I think we can see a good Nasrat Haqparast if he commits to it and sticks to the game plan that Firas Zahabi lays out in front of him. Will he do that? I don't know. That's kind of the risk here, but I'll throw a little bit of Nasrat Haqparast at plus money.
Don't mind it. Honestly, that's a fight that could go either way. I'm just leaning towards Esteban. Next up, we got, let's see it. Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. Yep. Dude, this memory is getting sharp. Cody, I just looked at it like 30 seconds ago. Cody Brundage, really good wrestler. He was a guy that like a lot of people thought maybe would give Bo Nickel a hard time. He was a huge dog in that fight. He's got good hands, good wrestling, and Julian Marquez is the favorite in this one, but he's coming off of 3 knockouts in a row. Crazy guys like Gregory Rodriguez and who else? Who else we got there on that slate for Julian Marquez recently? I'm going to peep it right now.
Zach Reese, loss. Marc-Andre Barrio, loss. Gregory Rodriguez, loss.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with anybody off of that list besides Gregory Rodriguez. And then even Gregory Rodriguez getting finished by Jared Kennedy. I mean, I do like RoboCop, Robo-Obama. I like him a lot. But I think that Cody Brundage, dog money, solid dog money, bet responsibly. I think that Cody Brundage is going to go out there and get the win. Like, Julian Marquez is a guy that wants to throw hands, even though his chin is absolutely shattered at this point in his career, ever since he called out Miley Cyrus for a date and started doing a podcast with Kendra Lust.
All-time career fumble.
Yeah, he just really fell off big time. And like, yeah, I wouldn't even say it's a career fumble. Like, yeah, you have a podcast with one of the hottest porn stars in the world. Good for you. And everybody's going to always remember you for calling out Miley Cyrus for a date. So, like, you took that platform that you had.
She said yes, and then he one-upped her again.
Oh, well, that's a fumble. That's a fucking
he called her out. Like, he said something, and then she goes, all right, all you have to shave an MC into your chest hair. And then he goes, he asked her to then do something.
Yeah, that's weak shit.
I'll find it. Continue with your breakdown.
Yeah, anyways, I just think that, like, even though Cody Brundage doesn't have the hands of the opponents that Julian Marquez has faced recently, he does have hands and he has wrestling, and then oftentimes a level change can lead to something nasty coming up over the top. Cody Brundage isn't bad with his overhands. They're not like super pretty or anything, but Julian Marquez, I think that chin is done for. I think that, you get knocked out 4 times in a row in the UFC. So Marquez issued a counter demand, even though it was he who requested a Valentine's date in this combat sport love story that never was. Marquez said Cyrus should get his fighting nickname, the Cuban Missile, tattooed in henna on her stomach. So he really didn't want to date with Miley Cyrus. He's a fucking loser, bro. This could be yours, but you dumb. Oh my God, bro. Even Miley Cyrus posted that on her story right after that. This could be you, but you dumb. This could be yours, but you dumb. That's fucking retarded. I mean, I'm not like the biggest Miley Cyrus fan, but if that's your celebrity crush, you call her out to shave your chest.
You call her out. for Valentine's Day. She goes, shave my nipples into your chest hair, and you go, actually, no, you need to do something to date me. What are you doing?
Yeah, who are
You
you?
just
And then
got what
you,
you asked for. You're
yeah,
now one upping after you. What?
yeah, this could be yours, but you dumb. That's a fucking fumble, bro. Like if dude, if a celebrity that I was into, like if I called out a celebrity on this show right now, if I said there's no like, okay, Alexandra Daddario, but I think she just had a kid with like her husband. So like there's okay, what's her fucking name? Sydney Sweeney. If I was like, hey, Sydney Sweeney, I'm calling you out. I want to take you out for a date. And she said, okay, shave your mustache or shave your beard. I'd fucking do it. Or shave SS into your chest hair. Yeah, I would do it. I'm not a simp. I wouldn't just do that for any old bitch. But for Sydney Sweeney, who I have a celebrity crush on, absolutely sure. But
You
Julia
went
Mark,
out on a limb to call her out. So, like, if she
yeah,
said, hey, do something as simple as get something that's going to grow back, just do it. You got what you asked for. But
yeah,
then to
Julia
be like,
Mark,
actually, hold on, counter, you have to do this for me. It's like, then,
you fucked up, boy. You
yeah, he's
fucked
going to
up,
lose.
boy.
He's going to lose. I don't even care about the fight. Cody Brundage. That's my
Yeah,
pick.
give me Cody Brundage, bro. I think he's gonna out wrestle the fuck out of Julian Marquez, and then maybe like at one point posture up and just start beating down on him. Because Cody Brundage, I know you say you don't give a fuck about the fight, but I will say this: Cody Brundage has a nasty double leg, and Cody Brundage is good from posturing up and wailing down with some ground and pound. And Julian Marquez at this point, his chin is fucking shot. His chin is done for. So that's how I see it going down. It's like a mean double leg, maybe like kind of late into the fight. Julian Marquez already worn down, and then Cody Brundage posturing up. Julian Marquez trying to push off, posture up, or push him away with those feet on the hips. And Cody Brundage is going to keep coming back and just wailing down.
Mhm.
And maybe it's a TKO or maybe his lights go out, but he will never have a date with Miley Cyrus. What a fucking loser. Main event time. Manel Cap versus, say that name for me, Tom.
Asu Almabayev.
Almabayev. Yeah, give me Manel Cap. I like Manel Cap. He's a piece of shit and he's really annoying. And had we been living in a world where cancel culture still exists, cancer culture is a thing. We do have cancer in our society, but if cancel culture was still a thing, Manel Cap would be long canceled. Nobody gives a fuck about calling people the words that he's called them in the past, and he's had some fun moments on the microphone. Um, Only lost to who was that? Yeah, Muhammad Makayev, who got cut right after that fight. I almost called him Muhammad Salah, but that's a Liverpool soccer player. That's not the right name. Muhammad Makayev, we already forget who Muhammad Makayev is. That's his only loss. And that was like a weird ass, stupid fucking fight where the two of them
Didn't he almost rip his knee apart?
No, that was the guy that fought Mokayev 2 fights previous. Was that Zahabi? No, it was another guy that was like a crazy underdog against Mokayev. I think it was Aline Perez. Yeah,
Alex
Alex Perez.
Perez.
I want to say that that was the one that he almost lost. Um, because he beat Tim Elliott pretty. Yeah, I think it was that Perez
I
fight.
think he also had a close fight with Manel Kape too. Like I think like it was definitely in trouble. Like he would. I remember thinking about Muhammad Makayev is that he like would get these wins, but they weren't as dominant as like they should be, or as
Yeah,
his like demeanor or ego made it seem like they should be.
I'll tell you about that fight. That was a fight where the two of them were shit talking each other big time going in. I'm sure you remember
Mhm.
that, like the build up to it. And then when it actually happened, it was like one of the most uninteresting, boring fights that I'd seen in
Mhm.
the past decade, where it was like, okay, there's so much beef. It's going to be fun. They're going to throw hands.
Mhm.
And then the two of them just kind of like fucking hip checked each other for 15 minutes. And it was just like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, and they're going in. And then they're going
Mhm.
out. They're going in. And it was a split decision. And it was just fucking bullshit. But Manel Cap didn't pull the shit with the UFC and Hunter Campbell and all those super powerful people. Even though that fight sucked, he remains under contract. And Muhammad Makayev is driving a Jeep in the desert somewhere. But Manel Cap, that's who I'm going with this week. Good all around fighter, great striking, super creative, super fun, gets in and out, throws a nasty 1-2 straight and a hook combo, and the leg kicks are nice. Can be a little inactive like that Mokaev fight. That's where it's like, all right, what do we expect from him here? Because he was a really rising star. Like he was set to fight Kai Kara France, and then he didn't. And yeah, he's basically been set to fight the who's who of the flyweight division. But that's who I'm going to take. I mean, he's a ranked guy. He's a highly ranked guy for a reason. And Almabayev, I can't say it, but this guy's coming out of nowhere fighting Manel Cap. I think Manel Cap's going to get the W, cement another spot, at the top of the rankings, maybe do something cool. So give me Manel Cap. That's what I like here. UFC experience, fun, all around better fighter. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just looking up, and Almabayev, grappler, held down his most recent um, opponent for the majority of the fight there. I'm just wondering if that is going to end up being an issue for Manel Cap. He's got this loss to Matthias Nicolau, which I believe Asu Almabayev just has a victory over. And could that be a telltale sign? Matthias Nicolau, 2 minutes and 31 seconds of control time over Manel Cap. We haven't seen him held down that much to date, but he hasn't really been fighting grapplers that much to date. They've been a lot more striking contests, and the only grappler was Muhammad Mokaev, who he lost to. So with that being said, because Manel Cap is he's going to go in there and try to strike. I think Asu Almabayev is going to go in there and try and take him down. Team Kazakhstan, I think those are traditionally more, what do you call it? They are someone who's disciplined and probably going to stick to the game plan. And I don't think he's going to be necessarily swayed too much by the Las Vegas, Nevada crowd here. Give me Almabayev for the upset. Only 36% of Tapology, but that could be, who knows? Main event. You could have Manel Cap followers who are going to vote with him. Plus 185 on the challenger, Almabayev. I guess you call him a challenger, but he's the underdog at 9. He's 21-2. And like I said, looking back at UFC stats here against Matthias Nicolau, he did get Nicolau had 2.5 minutes of control over Manel Cap. And we look back at that fight with Asu Almabayev, 5 minutes over Nicolau. This guy's a good grappler. And that's potentially a weakness for Manel Cap. And I like that in this matchup. Give me Almabayev to get this one done.
Counterpoint, I do agree with you, but my counter is just that we've seen now past couple of weeks in a row where it's like a guy that's better at wrestling, 5-round, 25-minute main event or 25-minute co-main event. The wrestling doesn't hold up as much, but we'll see. We'll see. I respect the pick, and I'm still going to go with Manel Cap. I still think the hands work, but he doesn't have a lot of power in his hands, so it's kind of a tough one, but I'm more resting on those UFC experience laurels more than anything. All right, you want to put a bow on this thing, wrap it up, pick rundown time? All right, starting from the bottom, I do just want to give one prelim notable pick, and that is Montana De La Rosa over Luana Carolina. I do like that one. I like Montana De La Rosa's wrestling quite a bit. All right, up to the main card. What do we got? Oof. Am I moving up a little bit on that screen? Let's see. I can't really.
There's a whole main card here.
Oh, well, I'm still.
Danny Barlow and Sam Patterson.
Oh, okay. It just loaded up. I was just seeing the prelims still. There's a slight buffer between you and I. Yeah, I'm going with Sam Patterson over Danny Barlow, William Gomi over Hyder Amil, Mario Pinto over Austin Lane, Esteban Ribovics over Nasrat Hakparast, Cody Brundage over Julian Marquez, and I'm going to take Manel Cap in the main event. What do you got, Tom?
I am going to, as far as the prelims go, give me Ramazan Termov over Charles Energy Johnson. That's going to be my prelim notable. Let me get on screen here. And then from there, I'm going Danny Barlow over Sam Patterson, William Gomi over Hyder Amil. Mario Pinto over Austin Lane. Give me something about it. Not Nasrat Hakparast over Esteban Ribovic. Brundage over Marquez. And Almabayev over Manel Cap as the picks.
All right. So just a reminder for all you kind people at home, the two of you that are in the chat with us right now. Yo, if you're watching this right now, comment in the freaking chat. Like, comment, and subscribe. All right. Subscribe. If that red button is not white when you go click on our page, hit it, turn it white, subscribe. It helps us out greatly. You have no idea. We really appreciate it. Like the video, comment, jump in the chat. Let us know who your favorite picks were this week. We love talking with you guys. Let us know what picks we missed out on. If you have any prelim notables, whatever it is that you want to chat about, we will be back next week to discuss UFC 312.
Let's see.
Is it 312?
313.
Oh man, I can't do math. So 313. Yeah, we'll be back next week to discuss that one. That one is super exciting. I'm so excited for that co-main event more than anything. Dan Hooker promising somebody's going to take it out in a stretcher. Let us know what you think about that one. I mean, we might even read your picks preemptively. If you have any picks ahead of time, let us know in the comments of this video or on our Instagram or Twitter. I'm at Pick and Keith on X, at Pick and Fights Tom on X. That's Tom, and at _ Picking Winners. Let us know what you think over there. Let us know what you think in the chat. Jump in on Spotify. Did I miss anything, Tom?
No, you hit all the bases. This week's going to be good, but I can't wait for next week. 313 is going to be dope.
Yeah.